Hello, my name is Starlight. Welcome to my YouTube channel, and I'm reaching out to all of you beautiful souls out there. I hope you're able to get out in nature like Starlight is. And what a beautiful day. I don't even know how warm it got today, in the 80s at least out here. And anyway, if you are new to my YouTube channel, welcome. And you can find me on YouTube, and that is at Starlight, and that is Kathy with a K Digman. Plus, you could give me a thumbs up, and you can also subscribe to my YouTube channel. Don't be afraid, don't be shy. Swing by and say hi, Starlight, and you can leave me a message down below. Beep, beep, beep. And you can also share my videos with your family or friends. Some fish and a deer. And also, you can also check out my Instagram at 1995 Starlight, or on Facebook, and that is Kathy with a K, Dingman Starlight. Thank you, all of you who've been here, loving and supporting Starlight. Some of you have been there from the beginning all the way till now. And, you know, if you are new to my YouTube channel, thank you for joining me here. And also, anybody that has given my videos a thumbs up or even left me a message down below. And those of you who share my videos, thank you so much. And today, video is about, it is not easy to let go. It is not easy to let go. And letting go, there's a whole lot of things about letting go. Letting go of people who no longer love and support us. Letting go of habits that are not really good for us, you know, bad habits, you know, things that are tripping us up more than helping us, you know. So letting go of food that we know that is not good for us, it's hard to let go of those things, you know, like I said, with old habits. And that could be like, you know, I used to eat ice cream every night before I went to bed, every single night. Talk about gaining weight. Yeah, this chick, Starlight, this Starlight chick, yeah, I was actually gaining weight. I was eating everything and anything, and then I was eating, you know, like at nighttime. Starlight had a really bad habit of eating a lot of food right before she went to bed, and ice cream was one of those things. So letting go is not easy to do in our life. Letting go of old thought patterns, you know, that we've had our whole life. Letting go of the old programs that are not serving us any longer. And that is what Starlight has been going through on this journey, is letting go of a lot. Letting go, you know, of my place that was my comfort zone in New York. You know, I'm not in New York anymore, but that was my comfort zone. I had to let that go. You know, I had to get out of my comfort zone in order for God to actually do things in my life. Letting go and letting God, this is really what this video is about, is letting go. And over here is a nice stream of water, and you know, it is easy to go with the flow of the water, but what if you had to go the opposite direction? You know, and with the universe and God, you know, like if we had a raft, like Starlight was just floating around on that water, you know, it's easy to go down. But sometimes when we go like on a, you know, like a stream of water, maybe a river, there's some, Starlight just told you about a story the other day, is where, you know, it just rained and Starlight did not know where she was. I was in an area and I just pulled off the side of the road and I put a tire tube out there. Starlight was wearing a dress, and I'll tell you what, I could have died, but I'm here. I'm here to live. I'm living, and I am here telling you the story that there's times that we have things already planned out in our life and we think that's the way it's going to go, but God's got other plans for you. And so there's times like we are going against the, you know, the current, you know, like going upstream. And when God is, you know, we're not even realizing that we're going upstream, and it's very hard to go upstream against the current. You know, like I was just in the water here a few minutes ago, and it's easy to go with the flow, but it's not easy to go in against it. And that is what we do sometimes, is that, we think that we got it all figured out, and we think that we know what job that we should have, and what kind of relationship that we ought to be in. And, you know, Starlight didn't know that I was supposed to let God pick the man out in my life, and so I could think back and think of my choices in men before, and it was bad. But you know what? God let it happen, because I had to go through so many different things to get prepared for the one that really God already had in store for me. I had to go through those kind of relationships. So everything happens for a reason, and nothing happens by accident. And there's no coincidence in this reality. But a lot of times we go through life, and we feel bad about the choices that we made. Don't feel bad. There's nothing to feel bad about now. Is that, we can't backtrack and wish we didn't do it again. Wish we didn't go through that. Wish we didn't, make that horrible choice like we knew. A lot of times we get warnings about not going in certain relationships, or even places that we get drawn to go to. So we go against the current, we go against the grain sometimes, and that's not what God really wanted and intended for us. God's got the greatest, and I say job, but if you're not happy with the job that you have right now, and that you feel like you're a slave and you don't feel appreciative, God's got the greatest thing for you, something that you've always wanted to do, but you're not even aware of it, and that's your life purpose. And I had to go on this journey to find out what my life purpose is. So I found out what my life purpose is. Now I just got to do the foundation work on that to get that going. So in life, we think that we know the girl or the guy, because we look on the outward appearance. We might, and the way society is, and the way we've been programmed to think, is to look at, okay, what does the guy own? What does the girl own? What kind of education did this person have? Where do they live? What area? What kind of, friends? Do they have a car? And Starlight was guilty when I used to do dating apps. Is there was certain, I had this checklist. We all got this checklist of the kind of guy or the girl, and okay, like does the person, I'm gonna just like, does the, because there's on dating apps, it will actually ask if they have a car or not, if they have pets or not, what age, and what race are they, the age range, like, so there's all these different questions. And what are they searching for? Are they searching for friends? Are they searching to get married? Is it just a hookup? So let me think of what other things. What color are their eyes? Do you pick out the guy or girl because the color of their eyes or the color of their hair? And I've known men and women that do this also, is they might actually pick out a guy or girl because of, I'm going to get real with you, because I know people that are have done this, is that you're looking at their body and they're like, I desire a guy with big muscles, and he's athletic type. Or, we all have these different things that we can say, oh yeah, because that's, Starlight used to do this. Starlight always picked the athletic type, body type. And then the age, that was a tough one for Starlight, is picking out the age, because I wanted a mature man I desired a mature man in my life. But it was really hard. I really was having a hard time, like, the age, because I realized that not all men my age are mature. And so it is so funny, who God already picked out for me is not who I would have ever picked out. So a lot of times we think that we could pick out that person. So, a lot of things, and if I went out, and picked out the man, which my history record sucked, I had bad, poor choice and choices. I mean, like choice. I did have. I really did not choose my men wisely when I was younger, and those were lessons. Like what are you looking for in a man or a woman? And God's going to look at it totally different. The way God sees is different things that you might not be thinking about as far as what you think that person should be or how they should be. So letting go of the way we think and the way we see things is not easy. It will blow your mind if you really got to know the man or woman that God already picked it for you. It's like Adam and Eve. Adam belonged to Eve. So like Starlight, the universe has already got a man that's meant for Starlight. And I don't know who you are, whether you're a guy or girl, or, like what your name is, whether you're a girl or a guy, God has got that perfect man or female just for you. But it's hard to let go of, like, the way society's ways are, and thinking that, like going on dating apps, people a lot of times, the first question most men will ask a female, at least that I have dealt with, is, what kind of job do you have? What do you do for a living, Starlight? And Starlight had her own cleaning business. But you know what? Some men, they did not like that. I'm like, really, what's up with that? Why I have my own cleaning business. I don't work for a company. I have my own cleaning business. Where they were looking for certain kind of, income, like to figure out, oh, do you make enough for me to go out with you? And so if somebody's really like that, I really am not interested. If that's is that how you really pick out the lady, is how much money do you make, in a year, So that's not how God is either. It's who you are in the inside. And it's so hard to let go of what we've been programmed to believe and think is how we're supposed to decide, Do you have a house? This is another thing that men, wanted to know with Starlight is, do you rent or own? I'm like, is this a dating app here? Whether if I rent or own? What are you trying to sell me a house or something? Or I don't know why you're asking me that question, but what does that have to do with in a relationship? So what are the kind of questions that you ask, in a relationships? And I'll tell you what, that's not the way that's not how God is. As far as, like who God already has for you. Those are not what God just believes to be the most important things to be asking that guy or girl. And women are guilty too of the same stuff, different things like that is, hey, what kind of job, like how much, and then people have like a figure of how much they think like how much do you make? Imagine that. Starlight never asked that question. That was something, I had to get to talk to that person for a long time. And if I finally asked them about where they work, it wasn't because I wanted to find out how much money do you make in a year. Absolutely not. I just wanted to know, like, as far as like what I do, like, do we have anything in common as far as, do you like helping people? That is a great, if it was a job that says, yeah, I actually am a nurse. Wow, that says something to me. Where some jobs, it says something about each person. So it's hard to let go of our old belief systems. And this is where I know a lot of people on my YouTube channel have a hard time is, letting go and letting God is to go with that flow that God has. When we go against what God already has set, that's when we're going to have problems. That's when we're going to have issues. But you know what? That's okay. That means that we got lessons to learn. It's okay. You're going to find yourself in a relationship and like, how did I get here? Well, God didn't pick that one out for you, because if it was going to work, you'd be, like working with that person and things would work out. But it's because a lot of times we look on the outward, we're not looking on the inward of those people, and not thinking the right things the way God sees it, like what is your plans for the future? That is a big, big, thing to find out about people, as far as like if you want to get to know them. And it's hard to let go of things that we like the hamster in the hamster wheel, going around in circles, repeating the same stuff over and over again, and wondering why there's no change. Is like doing the same things, that you did before. It didn't work, but you not even aware that it didn't work, and then making the same choices and thinking that you're going to get a different result. So those are things that it's almost like going out and getting the same kind of job and getting the same kind of results, but going back, and getting the same kind of job. Where after a while you're like, you know what, I need to break that cycle. I need to stop, trying to go get that same kind of job. The same kind of thing happens, or even the same kind of person that you want to date, and that is, but when it comes to choosing a man or a woman, a lot of times we end up picking the wrong man or the wrong woman, is because we need to get healed. And that's what happens, is that we end up picking because we don't love ourselves enough, we don't respect ourselves enough, so we end up going with men or women who don't respect us or love us either. So and that's why it's so important to slow down and do the inner work, and like to get to know them. Like, try to make friends first. See if you can make a friend with that person, instead of going from like the baseball, going from the home base to going all the way around, first, second, third, and home. Is to take steps, baby steps. Find out a lot about them, ask questions, and test them out, see if they're being honest and real, because everybody's wearing a mask one way or another. And that will be a video I want to come up with, something about the mask thing, so because everybody's wearing a mask, it's going to take time for them to finally take that mask off and take that mask off, and who knows how many layers that they're wearing, because they've been programmed to think that's how they have to be, is not to be their authentic self. So it is hard to let go of what you've been so used to doing, and to say, you know what, that didn't work. Now I'm gonna, I just heard somebody yesterday, and I thought it was beautiful. I am starting my life all over. That's a good way, start it all over. You know what? Everything I did before, it's like starting all over is to, like, if you wrote a book, kind of like even with God, like, like shaping us, like being the potter and we being the clay, is that, you still got work to do. So then it's like, crumble the clay up, start all over, get it all nice and smooth again, and now you get to start out and get molded back, into what God really wants you to be. And then, it takes time, just like artwork. There's times that Starlight did this, something didn't go out the way I wanted it with the artwork, and well, hey, start all over again. Or even when you're in school and you're trying to really do your best in writing something, and Starlight is one of these people. Gotta, I'm like taking that paper like a little ball, throw it into the basket, start all over, and that's what we need to do, and that's what Starlight has been doing, is starting all over. Try different things. Don't keep on repeating the same things over and over again. And it's hard letting go of what you've always done, and always, even like your clothing, to change it up a little bit, like do something different, something more exciting, is to not keep on, doing the same things over and over again. So letting go is not easy, but once you start doing that, you'll feel a whole lot better, and you'll like the new changes. You'll like the new you, because now it's going to be, like an upgrade for you, because now you're actually making adjustments in your life, deciding things differently. Like instead of going to the restaurant, going and eating the same meal over and over again, every single time you go to that restaurant, you're like, I'll pick out that one, this meal here. And every time you go there, you pick out the same meal, is to, even when you're eating, is try different things. You'd be surprised. There's some people that are very picky. They don't want to try new things, and you'd be surprised if you just tried it. you might love it. And Starlight is that chick. I don't eat meat or any of those other kind of stuff, but I do like to explore different things, and I don't like eating the same meal every night, you know, but I can do that. In this situation, I have to, but it's good to switch things up. I love you so much, and so go with the flow that God already has. When you go against it, you're going to have a hard time. You're going to, you know, but then it's a lesson. So it's okay even if you go against what God has. It just means that you got more lessons to learn, and that those lessons, when you make the wrong choice with men or women, relationships wise, it is going to get you more prepared for the one that God already has for you. I love you so much. This is Starlight. You can give this video a thumbs up. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel. Plus, you can you can leave me a message down below. Beep beep beep, and you could share my videos with your family or friends. Let's see. I'm thinking a moth and a skunk. Plus, you can also check out my playlist and find me on Instagram at 1995 Starlight, or on Facebook, and that is Kathy with a K, Dingman Starlight. I love you all. It's not easy to let go, but it's necessary. It really is. You know, change your old ways of thinking, change the old patterns. You know, maybe you need to change things, the kind of people that you spend time with, and the music that you listen to, or the food that you eat, and the places that you go. You know, is because when you do that, new experiences will come and flow in your life, and it will take you in a different direction where you normally, instead of it repeating all the time, going to the same place, you know, and it will help you to meet different people, you know, and you might meet that one out there is because you're not repeating the same thing, and then, you know, like you're making different choices in life. And I love you so much. This is Starlight, and namaste. This is Starlight, love, light, and